Tonight, the 10-game homestand continues at Tropicana Field. Fans file in for Game 1 of this series between the Rays and the Boston Red Sox. Evan Longoria leading the charge for the Rays, the American League Player of the Week. And look who's healthy and in the middle of the lineup for the Boston Red Sox. Big Papi, David Ortiz. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball. With Brian Anderson, I'm Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. We'll be hearing from Todd Callis in just a moment. Well, offense has led the way for the Rays. They're riding a 5-game winning streak. Evan Longoria, a lot to do with that. And as we saw Big Papi a moment ago, he's getting great protection from Mike Napoli. A look at both those guys.
Well, let's start with the American League Player of the Week, and that would be Evan Longoria. Deservedly so. 7 games. He hit safely in all 7 games. 13 out of 28. That leads out to that .464 average. 8 of the 13 hits have gone for extra bases to go along with 11 RBIs. Right now, his hands are very quick to the baseball, and that's why you're seeing that ball really jump off his bat and all this production. You hope that he can continue that, keep that going for the Rays as they've won 5 in a row. And then on the other side, you worry about Pedroia. You worry about Ortiz. Don't take your eyes off of this guy right here. The 7 home runs lead the Red Sox. The 17 doubles, good enough for 3rd in the American League. The 33 RBIs, again, right at the top of the heap, leads Major League Baseball in that category. This is a guy with tremendous foul line to foul line power. There is no part of the park that he can't leave from, so you got to be very wary of his power bat in the middle of this very powerful lineup.
And going up against Mike Napoli and the rest of this Boston Red Sox lineup, the young left-hander Matt Moore. He's 3-0 at home, 6-0 overall. So tonight, pushing for his 7th victory of the year in this
Yankees opening up a 3-game series. The former Ray and Devil Ray Johnny Gomes getting ready for this one. He'll be in the lineup against the lefty Matt Moore. When you look at the kid out of Albuquerque's numbers this year, Matt Moore making his 8th start of the year, there's one that's incongruous with the other. He is very good, tied for first in wins, 2.14 ERA, top 6. Opponent's batting average against top 3. But look at the lower number. Lowest in the major leagues, his 47.1% first pitch strike. So he's working from behind in the count a lot. And for Jim Hickey, his pitching coach, he said, yes, there is room for improvement for Matt.
He certainly can pitch better. That's the scary part for the opposition. He really hasn't pitched well yet. I mean, he's pitched well on occasion, but he hasn't strung together, the 4 or the 5 consecutive starts where he's putting his fastball where he wants to and the off-speed stuff is clicking. I think he had probably 2 consecutive starts like that. But he's a young pitcher, still finding his way, still fighting himself a little bit, and yet here we are in almost mid-May, and he's 6-0 with somewhere around the 2.0 earned run average. So that's the good news, I guess. And the bad news, like I say, for the opposition is he can still get considerably better.
So Matt Moore, we'll see if he does get better. This is a Boston team that can be very patient, so we'll see how that plays out tonight. Moore does not have great numbers in his career against the Boston Red Sox. 3 minutes and 10 seconds away from the first pitch. It's Moore against the Red Sox. John Lackey coming up next on Sun Sport.
Their current 5-game winning streak. The offense has been red hot, averaging over 6.5 runs a game. The defense has been spectacular. Oh, leaping against the wall, and he got it. Joyce back, he's to the track, it's going to be over his head, and he gathers it in. How about that for a catch?
Off the bench, what a catch.
And the bullpen has returned to dominance. Tonight, a tough task awaits unbeaten Rays lefty Matt Moore as the AL East rival Red Sox arrive at the Trop to begin a 3-game set. And the Rays have some getting even to do with the Boston Red Sox, dropping 3 at Fenway in the middle of April, and so they will play host to the Red Sox in a 3-game series at Tropicana Field. And Alex Cobb, who, by the way, will be pitching here Thursday night, will be mic'd up for tonight's game. And so we'll be hearing on occasion from Alex Cobb as our evening progresses here at the Trop. Well, let's take a look at John Farrell's starting lineup for Boston. Jacoby Ellsbury will lead it off, followed by Shane Victorino. Dustin Pedroia hits third in front of the DH David Ortiz. Mike Napoli's at first. He'll hit in the number 5 spot in front of the left fielder Johnny Gomes. Will Middlebrooks hits 7th. Stephen Drew 8th. Brian Lavarnway will do the catching, and he'll bat 9th.
Now, taking the mound tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays is left-hander Matt Moore. His numbers brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. And are they impressive or what? The opponent's average 176, a perfect 6-0 on the record, ERA just over 2. Looking to stay perfect tonight. About the only thing that you would want right here, that number right there, you'd like to see that come down a little bit, or at least not climb at the same rate. 23 walks and 42 innings of work, but Matt Moore has been very adept at being able to pitch out of jams, make the big pitch when he needs to.
Jacoby Ellsbury settling in. He'll lead it off here against Matt Moore. First pitch of the game by the Rays lefty, and that's a fastball in there for a strike. First pitch tonight presented by Pinch a Penny. Ellsbury hitting .257. Again, a fastball. Moore misses this time. Well, the first pitch strike, something that Matt, as a lot of young pitchers come to do, acknowledging that that first pitch strike has a very good chance of being the most important pitch in a sequence of pitches to opposing hitters. But it has been elusive for him at times.
It really has. And you know what? The opposing hitters are giving him that first pitch. I mean, they are swinging. First pitch percent swing on the first pitch is 14%. For his career, it's been 25. So teams are really laying off that opening, usually fastball by Matt Moore and handing him strike one. He has not always been willing to take it.
Upstairs and leaving the count to Ellsbury. At 0-2 in a couple starts against Boston in his career with a .657 earned run mark. Oh, and he hits Ellsbury on that 2-2 pitch. Hits him in the upper back with a fastball.
Now, that's just a fastball that got away from Matt Moore, but that's typically where they will get away from him. Right on the back of that shoulder blade.
And you're right, that's the spot he struggles with.
Well, and all that is that ball is just being released a little bit too soon. He's not getting out in front where his good release point, where he can drive the ball to his, to whatever spot he wants to hit. Arm side high is where a lot of times he'll miss when he doesn't get to his spot. That one cost Ellsbury.
Shane Victorino, the switch hitting outfielder. First pitch is a strike. Victorino cleared the play after crashing into the wall in right field Sunday in their game against Toronto. He left that game eventually, and all tests came back negative. Some fear that he might have fractured a rib.
He hit that low wall so hard, right up, had arm fully outstretched, and it got him right in the side. And you're exposed. I mean, when you make that jump and that arm goes up, that whole rib cage area is exposed, and he hit that wall hard.
That's the way he plays the game.
Yep.
Pitch drops in there off speed.
Matt Moore's going to have to continue to keep his eye on Jacoby Ellsbury over there. A lot of times, a good base stealer like Ellsbury gets hit by a pitch and he wants to stick it to that pitcher. Matt's been very good, though, at giving runners different looks. High leg kick, then the slide step.
Ellsbury 12 of 14 running, and he's running here. Pitch pop foul out of play.
And that's where you get frustrated if you're Ellsbury. Now, obviously, Victorino's got to put a ball in play here, but with the high leg kick and the jump that Ellsbury had, he would have stolen second base standing up. I mean, there was no chance you were getting him.
Pitch down, dug out. And he was a little quicker that time, wasn't he?
Did you not know? I mean, that bag was as good as swiped. Matt Moore and everybody else knows it, so let's go to the slide step. No chance to steal there. Not even a chance to get a jump. And that's what he'll do. And that's why, as a base stealer, sometimes it's a guessing game. Matt does a nice job of not pitching in patterns with his leg kicks.
The Red Sox will take advantage of Pacheco of Ellsbury's speed. The top three guys in their lineup are really interesting hitters. There's a foul ball back. They're guys who will battle you. There's a combination of some speed, contact, occasional power in Ellsbury, Victorino, and Pedroia.
They rank right now. They're second in the American League in stolen bases. To who? Who's number one? Who would you have thought? Toronto Blue Jays, number one in stealing.
Really?
I mean, those two teams, you do not figure them at the top of the heap as far as running goes in the AL.
Boston overall fourth in the league in runs scored. And the top half of this order, especially recently, has done most of the damage. And a cut to miss. He strikes out Victorino on a change.
Victorino tried to lengthen his swing to be able to put that ball in play, but a slide step changeup from Matt Moore, and that was a good one. Couldn't wait back long enough. Look at him just trying to feel for that ball out there, put it in play. Pitch was too good.
That brings up Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia hitting .331. Attempted a breaking ball was way high. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, that just goes back to him trying to find that release point. The sooner that he does that, obviously the better off for him and the Rays. Boy, oh boy, when he locks it in, he's as good as you're going to see. He's got good command. I don't know if I've ever seen him have a mediocre game. And that's what we kind of hit on before with his walks. You know, last year he was at 4.11 walks per 9 innings. This year it's almost at 5. He's closing in on 5. And so still, with the numbers that he has, you look about how he can get a little bit better. That's one area.
It's a low hit total, but that walk total is higher than he would like to be.
But just think about that. Think about if he gets that part of his game under control with really good command.
Yeah,
his
because
stuff,
the opposition only hitting 176 off.
Yeah, and that may not stay that low, but certainly he's capable of dominating every time he takes the hill.
It's a strike in.
His changeup and fastball play off of each other so well, and that curveball, when he's getting that thing out in front, he's able to create such downward tilt spin. It's impossible for these guys to really pick up. And, you know, that spins so quickly. And he gets a lot of swings and misses on that curve.
Ground ball, third, hits the bag and deflects away from Longoria. Third base will be open. Over to third goes Ellsbury, and Pedroia winds up at second. It hit the bag, and with that, any chance of making a play went by the boards when the ball hit the bag.
Yeah, and you just wonder, that ball off the bag, obviously no man's land. Ellsbury's going to make it to third. Let's see about Pedroia getting to second. You see right there, nothing you can do about that. But this ball kind of ends up in no man's land, and Matt Joyce trying to come in and get it. Pedroia ends up being aggressive and heads into second base.
Yeah, Joyce had to redirect his route because he was headed straight to the line, thinking the ball was going to go up the line, and then it hit the bag and deflected more toward fair territory into shallow left. Second and third now, and here's David Ortiz. First inning trouble for Matt Moore. inside with a fastball.
You can see already they want to use that good left-on-left fastball in on David Ortiz where he is most vulnerable. This guy, tremendous plate coverage, and he wants to get those arms extended. You can beat him in at the hands, but you better not miss.
And a long one to right. Down the line, and that ball is fair and gone. Ortiz turned it around and hits it out. A 3-run home run. Boston takes the early lead. Well, Ortiz had been red hot, and then he fell into a slump. 1 for 17 coming into this game. That doesn't make any difference.
No, and you know what? We talk an awful lot about command as far as not walking guys, but command there was look where that pitch, where Matt Moore wanted that pitch, and look where it ended up. They wanted to go fastball down and away from David Ortiz, and that ball ended up middle in and elevated. And he didn't miss it.
5th home run of the year for Ortiz.
Here, watch the setup here of Jose Molina, where they want it and where the pitch ends up. You see that catcher reaching back across the white part of the plate. A guy like Ortiz at the plate, not going to be good.
The strike to Napoli. It's 1-1. 7th home run given up by Matt Moore. Well, the Rays have done a lot of scoring early this year, and so have the Red Sox. They have 3 in the first inning tonight. Boston 4th in the league in runs scored, and the Rays 6th in the league in runs scored. And both these teams in the early stages of their games, that's where they've done most of their offensive work. One out, 3 runs home. And the count is full on the Boston first baseman. Tapped to third. Gloved by Longoria, and his throw to first in time to get Napoli. So 2 outs.
Well, let's take a quick second here to look at the Rays defense as it lines up behind Matt Moore in the outfield left to right. Joyce, Jennings, and Zobrist across the infield, third to first. Longoria, Escobar, Johnson, and Loney. Jose Molina will be behind the plate.
Base is empty for Johnny Gomes. See his numbers on the year. He's actually done most of his damage offensively on the road. Late on the fastball, strike 1. And given a little time, that might even out. You would expect him to be pretty effective at Fenway. 2. Right now he's hitting .296 on the road and .114 at Fenway Park.
That was so much of the damage of Johnny Gomes, and he's got big time power, but to left field, and with that green monster, you figured he'd be peppering that wall all day long.
So he bats with the bases empty and 2 outs, 3 runs home, courtesy of David Ortiz. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
How about that necklace? Little game day necklace. Game day bling.
Yep. Gotta have your best.
Big time. Gotta see him sliding head first. I got to believe I'm saving that for a weekend night out.
That look good on you.
No, it would not look good. I don't wear anything anymore. Got to be a better way to say that.
Yeah, that was quite a mental image. Poppy already with a home run tonight. 3 runs batted in. And strike 3 called on Gomes. Well, 2 strikeouts in the inning, but the big blow, the home run. Rays coming in to hit, down by 3. Joe's lineup. Desmond Jennings returns to the leadoff spot, followed by Matt Joyce and Ben Zobrist, Evan Longoria, James Loney in the DH is Luke Scott, 4, 5, and 6. Billy Johnson, Jose Molina, and then Yunel Escobar rounding it out.
Well, taking the mound tonight for the Boston Red Sox is right-hander John Lackey. His numbers brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. 4 starts, a 1-3 record. The ERA very good at 2.82. Has been victimized by some unearned runs as he looks to rebound from a biceps injury.
First pitch to Jennings is a strike.
Went on the disabled list right off the bat. Opening of the season, coming off elbow surgery.
Yeah, that was scary for a guy who came off the serious surgery he had.
Well, and when you saw it, too, coming off Tommy John at his first start of the season, and you see him leave the game and holding that arm at his side, and you're like, no, don't tell me. Fortunately for him and the Red Sox, it was just a bicep strain, and he's back out there working himself into form.
Well, if he's healthy, and he appears to be, boy, behind Buchholz and Lester, that's a very important, experienced arm.
He kind of hides out in that starting rotation. You know, he's a dependable veteran starter. He throws 4 pitches, fastball, curveball, slider, change. Has a very good idea of what he's doing out there. And like you said, if he's healthy, it means he's going to have pretty good command. And when he's got pretty good command of all 4 of those pitches, he's a tough matchup for any hitter.
Yeah, he's going to be a key for the Red Sox if they're going to stay in contention. And you know, you look at the American League East, you started the year thinking that all 5 teams should be in contention. The Blue Jays have gotten off to a bad start, so they're trying to play catch up. But you look at all these teams in the East. The Yankees have surprised some folks. There they are, game up on Baltimore, and Boston running third, 2 back in the race, 2.5 out of 3rd place. Jennings out on strikes.
Well, that's what he does. He just moves the ball around the zone, and then right there, a very hard slider there by Lackey. Good depth on it, and Desmond Jennings chases right after it.
Yeah, that slider can be almost as hard as his fastball now.
Yeah, it's almost, I mean, the way that he throws it, it's almost cutter hard. And when he gets on top of it, he gets a little bit of the depth, and it becomes like a true slider.
Here's Matt Joyce. Joyce takes a strike. Matt's had some success against Lackey. Quickly down in the count. Joyce 4 out of 13 lifetime with a home run against the veteran right-hander. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Just to put the home run by Ortiz in perspective, a 3-run shot to give Boston the lead. That's the 5th first-inning home run allowed by the Rays in the last 6 games, including this one. In the prior 5, they're 5-0. Fly ball for Ellsbury. Joyce is out number 2.
Let's take a quick look at the defense as it lines up tonight for the Boston Red Sox in the outfield left to right. Johnny Gomes, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Shane Victorino. Across the infield, third to first, Will Middlebrook, Stephen Drew, Dustin Pedroia, and Mike Napoli. Ryan Lavarnway will be behind the plate.
Ben takes a strike.
How about these pitches by Lackey? Obviously the first inning, just the third hitter, but quality pitches, well located.
And Lackey already has a nice rhythm going. Ground ball to second. 1, 2, 3 go the Rays. On to the second inning we go. 3-0 Boston. Luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. By After Earth in theaters May 31st. By Tampa Bay Times, the amazing stories only in the 2013 Pulitzer Prize-winning Tampa Bay Times. And by Toyota, let's go places. We go to the second inning. Middlebrooks up here, and he takes a pitch inside. Middlebrooks hitting .206. There's a strike. Moore made 30 pitches in the first inning, surrendering 3 home runs All coming on the David Ortiz home run. Fastball fouled back. Stephen Drew will be next, and then Ryan Lavarnway. Strikeout posted. Middlebrook swinging and missing.
Will Middlebrook saw a hanging curveball, but this was way too far up. He sees a hanging curveball, he wants to jump all over it, but this was actually a curveball that, well, didn't do much of anything, stayed up above the zone, but it did result in a strikeout for Matt.
Stephen Drew. Pitch is a strike. A 1-1 count. A strike breaking ball.
Nice adjustment by Matt Moore. You know, that's his willingness to continue to work on that release point and go back to that pitch. Some guys, they throw a couple of hanging breaking balls and they want to shy away from it. Matt Moore will just keep throwing it until he figures it out. Not quite there yet.
2. Strike 3. He just kept throwing it. Got Drew looking.
Maybe it was 2 out of 4. 2 hangers, 2 pretty good ones, then the at bat. This isn't even his A+ curveball, but you'll definitely take it. It locks up Drew, catches that outside corner.
Two outs, and here's Ryan Lavarnway. Lavarnway getting a start coming up from the minor leagues. David Ross, one of their other catchers, did a nice job for them. He's on the 7-day concussion list. He took a couple foul balls directly off the mask, so they're not taking any chances with him. Giving him adequate time to recover. Jared Saltalamacchia, the other catcher. Two balls and a strike. Lavarnway is off to a good start in Pawtucket. As you might expect, a guy his size, he's got some pretty good pop in that bat if he gets a hold of one. Boston coming in 22-16. Great start for Boston. Recently, they have struggled. They've lost 8 of their last 10. John Farrell has gotten this club overall off to a very good start in his first year as the manager. On the right side, and that's a foul ball out of play. You can see their first 28 games, 20-8. And the run differential between the start and the last 10 games significant.
Everybody's had a hand in
ERA.
Look at the runs. Down 2, the ERA way up. It's been just one of those stretches where everything goes south.
Strike 3 call. Lavarnway caught looking. 3 strikeouts in the inning. 3-0 Boston, mid-2.
Nothing lead right now, but about to step up to the plate is Evan Longoria. And in case you missed it, for the 6th time in his career, he took home American League Player of the Week honors. And in true Longo style, he credits his teammates.
It's a tremendous honor. You know, again, I think a lot of it has to do with the way that the offense has been playing, top to bottom. You know, you have to be presented with opportunities to drive in runs and produce offensively to you know, achieve the award. So, you know, we've done a great job, and you know, obviously James has hit the ball as well as anybody in Major League Baseball, and you know, I hope it continues. You know, it's been really fun.
What do you think, Dwayne and BA? Is Longo playing better than ever?
Well, we've seen him play and go through great stretches, but I'll tell you, and we talked about it the other night, Kelly, BA, he's seeing the ball. I don't know that he could ever see the ball better than he has in this stretch.
No, as good as those numbers are, and the American League Player of the Week numbers, I'm more impressed with how he's seeing the ball, how he's taking pitches, how he's being able to track the ball in. You combine that was just an outstanding pitch there by Lackey to get him to commit, but you combine the ability to track those pitches like that with the fact that his hands are so quick to the baseball, and that's why you're seeing the ball jump off his bat, and this ball just really boring down towards the ground, and I think they're calling that a foul tip.
Yeah, and he was wondering, I think at first, if he'd even made contact with it. You know, it's hard to argue with him with the way he's tracked the ball.
Yeah.
If he says he didn't make contact, then that's good enough for us. Here's James Loney lifting a fly ball to center, and Ellsbury's there.
You know, he also may have been inquiring if he did foul it off. Like, hey, man, that ball bounced.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that ball's so close to the ground, you assume that it bounced. I think that actually went right into the glove on the fly, but you can't fault Evan for putting up a little beef.
So 2 quick outs here for Lackey. Here's another look.
Yeah, see, this ball so far down, and you can see it does go right into the glove on the fly, and Evan could be saying, hey, look, man, that ball bounced.
Yeah, and you know, Rob Drake said that's a foul tip, you could see, but I don't think he felt like he made contact.
We'll have to ask him.
Strike the count to Luke Scott. Red Sox have the shift on for Scott for loading the right side.
And I mean overloading the right side. They're still giving him the middle of the field. You know, a lot of times you see that shift where they, you know, the shortstop moving over, just it's all bunched up on the right. They're giving Luke's got the whole left side and basically up the middle if he wants it.
pitch is too close. And it's 3-1. Fly ball into right. Victorino waiting for it. The Rays are up and down in order. We're headed into the third. It's 3-0 Boston.
Gummy bears took me down. Only thing that could take me down a couple weeks ago was the gummy bears. I'm allergic to losing.
One of those Spanish days of the week.
Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves. That's most of them. And then sábado.
Monday to me for confirmation. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Lunes, martes, miércoles.
Thursday.
What's Thursday?
Well, Alex Cobb, as we mentioned at the outset, mic'd up in the Rays dugout. Apparently, they were discussing the in-game menu rotation.
Very enlightening sometimes down there in the dugout.
Yep. The Gummy Bears, a prominent part of that discussion.
Got to have something to lunch on.
2-1 to count to Ellsbury, the top of the order leading off for Boston. Yeah, the atmosphere in the dugout, you've been there before. Yeah, you know, it goes from almost nonsensical to very serious and then swings right back to more nonsense.
There's just too much time on your hands. I mean, you got to think about this. A lot of these guys are getting to the ballpark early afternoon. You know, 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, and they come in and they're here together until, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Day in and day out, flights, road trips, hotels. There's a lot of talking that goes on and a lot of, everything.
Yeah.
Spend that many hours with somebody. It's not all business all the time.
Kelly Johnson taking care of Ellsbury's pop-up, but here's Shane Victorino. Pitch is high, 1 ball, no strikes. Well, you talk a little shop.
Yeah.
Talk little Gummy Bears, a few other things here and there.
Right.
Pay attention to the game. Maybe make a comment on a call or two.
Maybe get tossed.
Yep, that's been known to happen. And hey, there's David Price. You know, he's had a little allergy issue and got some eye drops, and they think that might help some of that. Victorino is out, second to first. And that's not an easy thing to deal with. You dealt with that on the last road trip.
Yes, Dwayne, I'm telling you, they went crazy in Kansas City. It looked like I'd been beat about the head by a 2x4.
You're playing hurt again tonight.
He'll play hurt tonight. Got a bad hip and neck. Well, here's what happened. Watching the hockey game last night, Boston and Toronto. And Toronto's got that huge lead with just a few minutes left, and they give it away.
Yep.
And I was ticked.
Yep.
I was ticked. I wanted to see Toronto advance. If we go to Toronto next week, it'd be a lot of fun to the day game, go watch the game. And so I went out and played my own version of street hockey, late night street hockey.
Yep.
And I'm just going to tell you, it got out of hand.
Well, I heard it fell hard.
Yeah.
Fly ball to center. Pedroia is outnumbered 3. Bottom of the third coming, 3-0 Boston. Third in the game tonight and all season long. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Kelly Johnson's going to lead off the bottom of the third inning against the right-hander. Fouls it up third base side for a strike.
Kelly Johnson trying to take that down and away offering right up the third base line. Will Middlebrooks was actually playing in on the grass, the turf.
Out to Pedroia at second. So that'll be the first out in the third. Time now to check in with Todd Callis. Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, Dwayne. There's an intriguing matchup in Yankee Stadium tonight as CC Sabathia is on the mound for New York against the King Felix. Let's take a look at the first run of this game. Runner on first base and a ball by Kyle Seager driven into the right center field gap. Brett Gardner playing center despite the fact Curtis Granderson's back. They're going with Granderson out in left field tonight. So Saunders scores and an early 1-0 lead for Seattle, guys.
Righty. Thank you very much, Todd, for the update. The Yankees have really weathered the storm to this point of injury and one by one trying to get some of their personnel back. They started the day up by a game on Baltimore. Molina fouls it the other way into the right side of the screen. He's behind in the count, 0-2.
You see this division right now, the prognosticators before the season would have had it completely flipped. You know, Toronto was the team that was going to run away with it. The Rays would be there because of their starting pitching. Didn't know what was going to go on with Boston, Baltimore, they can't possibly do it again.
A ground ball right side, base hit. Just out of the reach of Pedroia. So Molina behind in the count. Doesn't try to do too much. He hits the ball the other way and has himself a base hit.
There was nothing to do, nothing you could do with that pitch. That ball's moving down and away. You try to pull this, or you just can't. So he just puts the bat on it. Finds the hole on the right side. And then I think New York, even. If you look at New York, they were like, nah, too many injuries, getting too old.
Yep.
And it is completely flipped. And that's why, going back to what you said, this is going to be a dogfight from April to October.
Yeah, I really think it will be. And you know, we were looking at the Rays schedule, just taking a peek at how they end the year. And boy, the last couple of weeks of this season are going to be a challenge for the Rays. Here's Escobar stroking one up the gap into left center field. Molina digging hard, and Foley's going to have to put up the stop sign for him at third. Escobar hit it a long way into the alley in left center field. He's had great success against Lackey, and there's his 5th double of the year.
How about Lackey? So sharp with his pitches, retires the first 7 Rays hitters, and then 8 and 9 in the order. Get it done. Molina with a nice at-bat going the other way, and then Escobar just taking a mistake out over the plate and driving it into the gap. The Rays, a prime opportunity to chip away at this Boston lead.
We go to the top of the order for Desmond Jennings. Desmond back in the lineup tonight. 1 ball, no strikes. Yeah, Lackey came out throwing strikes. He had first pitch strikes all the way through the Rays order. First time, and now he's 1-0 here to Jennings. Two and 0. Barnway heads to the mound, spent a little time with the veteran. Lackey comes in 1-3, has 129 career victories. This is his 300th major league appearance tonight. All of those, with the exception of one, have been starts. And he's behind Jennings, 3-0.
Well, with the open base, just not wanting to give in. He goes with a 2-0 slider. That may have been the curveball, whatever it was, out of the zone.
Strike taken.
Don't throw that one again.
Or throw it again.
Yeah, right. If you want to back up bases, I guess.
3-1 and a low liner. One hop. Middlebrooks makes the pickup. And so that is out number 2.
How about that? That ball with a little bit of movement away from Desmond, and he hits a shot with the reach of Middlebrooks. Gonna make sure that nobody's trying to leave. Molina stays at third and makes the throw over. And now Lackey with an opportunity to maybe get out of this inning. 2 outs now.
You know, you could see that it was a low liner on the short hop.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And he made the play at first. And that was the original call down by David Rackley at third base. But I think Joe West stepped in and said he made the catch on the fly on a low liner.
But he did.
He did. That's right. mean, Joe's a powerful man, but
right.
1 ball, no strikes here to Matt Joyce. This one low. So for the sake of scoring, now because of that call, it's a line out to third. Here's Joe West, the veteran umpire, the crew chief.
Very pleasant demeanor.
Spent some time with him and had chili cook-offs. He was very pleasant then.
He was?
Of course.
Oh, right. Look at that. That just screams pleasant.
He's recorded some country western CDs. Blue Cowboy. Performed with a number of personalities through the year. Boxcar Willie.
If he hasn't done a duet with Axl Rose, I'm not sure I've heard his music. Just saying.
3-1. I think I have an extra. I'll bring it for you tomorrow.
Oh, okay, that'd be great. Okay. Maybe I'll get him to sign it. That'll be loads of fun.
Yeah. A 3-1 count to Joyce. And ball 4. Well, here's Ben Zobrist. The bases are loaded. Big chance here for the Rays to counter that 3-run first by Boston.
This is where, as a hitter, you just don't want to get over anxious. You got to try to stay within yourself, and by the looks of those numbers, Ben Zobrist reacts well to these situations.
He has been productive and patient. 5 walks in among all those official at-bats. And the Rays lately, you can see the numbers here, 294 with runners in scoring position, second only to the Kansas City Royals.
How about that? With some statistical anomalies. You know, Toronto and Boston leading the American League in stolen bases.
Yeah.
The Rays in Kansas City, clutch hitting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Kansas City displayed some of that in the spring, and they've carried that into the regular season. The Rays didn't show a lot of that in the spring. In fact, they closed the spring training schedule struggling a little bit, opened the season that way, but boy, they've been good lately. High fly ball down the left side. Foul, and it's going to fall just out of the reach of Middlebrooks, who makes new friends in the Red Sox bullpen.
Yeah, they didn't exactly scatter very quick, though. Middlebrooks running into some interference down there. He's got to go a long way.
It's a great effort by their young third baseman.
I mean, the guys, you got to get out of his way. I mean, how about this? Hey-o. I mean, some court awareness, fellas.
Well, they're on the same team.
Are they?
Foul ball back, fastball, and Zobrist went up after it a little bit. Molina's at third, Escobar's at second, Joyce at first. First opportunity for the Rays here in this inning. Lavarnway and Lackey get together again.
Well, you wonder if they're going to go after. You know, they were able to retire Ben Zobrist in his first at-bat in the first inning on a 0-1 changeup. Hit a ground ball to second base. A lot of fastballs here. You wonder if he tries to go back to that changeup.
And a ground ball to second. And it's the shortstop, Drew, takes care of that. That'll be the final out. Appeared that he threw him a little slider maybe to get the ground ball. 3-0 Boston. David Ortiz, our Toyota trend. You can see his start get off to a very fast start. And coming into the game tonight, May has been a bit of a struggle, although that home run in the first inning is the difference in this one. And there is that chain, that necklace.
Did you
nice
see this,
job.
And the sweet watch that he was wearing, too.
Oh, yeah.
Big face. Brings it.
Reminds me of your watch.
When I was told to never wear again.
Where is that?
Oh, it was out last night during the hockey game.
That's probably why you took such a big fall.
Yeah, hey.
Got overbalanced.
Listen, I did get, but it was a rough game. I'm telling you, I mean, I was called, penalized for like grasping, groping, boarding, a lot of time in the penalty box.
Gotcha. David Ortiz takes a strike. The count is 1-1. Well, he has hit his share of home runs here at Tropicana Field. Ortiz, Ramirez, Rodriguez. Two and one. The home run in the first. Kept it fair down the line. Chops this one to the right side. Zobrist throws him out.
Boy, and you go back to that home run that he hit. How about this? That was the first hit given up by Matt Moore with the runner in scoring position all season long.
That's amazing, isn't it?
0 for 28. And that's why we go back. Hey, there have been some times where mechanically he's not all there, and he's fighting himself a little bit. But when push comes to shove and guys are out there in dangerous spots on the bases, he has come up big and made the pitches he needs to.
This is away to Napoli. Tried to throw the breaking pitch.
And that pitch has been a struggle for him tonight. He's thrown a couple of good ones, but there have been a few that have just kind of rolled up there, not quite getting all the way out in front yet. Better adjustment there. I mean, how about that? He goes from rolling that one up there, makes the adjustment. That's the sign of a pitcher really learning too, on the fly, maturing.
Well, we saw him in the second inning, one after another, the breaking ball, trying to get the feel for it. Yep. He actually wound up striking out the side and used that curveball a lot in that inning.
He did. Good changeup right there. How about this? He's always had a good changeup. Sells it well with the arm speed. It's such a big pitch for a lot of these Rays pitchers, for the organization, really. A lot of emphasis on the change.
2-2. Tap foul. Well, Moore was talking the other day about developing in the Rays system and how he really felt that he was a guy who had a good arm, but they were very patient with him and step by step tried to develop his pitches and command of his pitches. There's a strike ball, a fastball, and Napoli is caught looking.
Not very often you're going to catch Mike Napoli surprised by a heater. I think he thinks this was out of the zone, but right at the top of it. It's middle of the plate, top of the zone. Nothing wrong with that pitch at all.
So 2 up, 2 down in the fourth. Brings up Johnny Gomes. Rays have the shift on and a fastball thrown by him. Strike one. Strike. Well, the lows never stop improving. And look at Matt Moore, the first 7 starts of the year. 2012, 1-3. This year, 6-0.
He said
big steps.
He said he wanted that slow starter. He wanted to put that to bed. Well, how about those numbers?
Gets this one in on Gomes. Fastball pops him up to first. Loney takes care of it. 1, 2, 3, they go. It's 11 in a row retired since the home run by Ortiz. Rays will have Evan Longoria to lead off the bottom of the fourth. American League Player of the Week, 3-0 Boston. They're coming in to hit in the bottom of the fourth inning. Take a look at our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile. Most extra base hits since the middle of April. And the two leaders in this game tonight, Evan Longoria and Mike Napoli. And Evan will open the bottom of the fourth against John Lackey. Longoria to be followed by James Loney and Luke Scott. And a lot of first pitch strikes for Lackey tonight, right from the get-go. It's a foul ball, 0-2.
Yeah, quality strikes, that's the thing. Really, the only mistake that he made was the ball out over the plate. And that was to get Escobar. After the base hit by Molina, he left a ball right over the heart of the plate. Escobar drilled it into the gap, and he was able to keep the Rays off the scoreboard.
Comes up with the fastball.
All that was is just to change the eye level. He's been working Evan down in the zone, getting him reaching after pitches. So all of a sudden you throw one up middle of the plate, way high, change the eye level, and then probably go right back down in the zone.
Lackey has looked pretty good here tonight. And as we referenced briefly earlier, if he is healthy and can be effective, he could make a big difference in this Boston rotation and therefore with their team overall. And there are those who felt that after he left the Angels, signed that big deal with the Red Sox, that he really hasn't been physically 100% since he's been in Boston. Well, he went through the Tommy John surgery, and with that behind him, he might be as healthy and feel as good as he's felt in 3 or 4 or 5 years.
And I think you see that with the command, the way that he's able to manipulate the ball all over the strike zone. Well, the first thing to go when you're injured, sometimes the velocity will go also, but when you're injured, command, that last little bit of feel out in front to get it to your spot. You just can't fully extend. Makes it difficult.
Yeah, and that's really what happens so often when you see a player across the board, but a pitcher, when you see their performance start to decline. More times than not, it has to do with something physical, either wear and tear or injury. Liner into center. There's a base hit, falling in there. And Evan is aboard for the first time, picking up hit number 3 for the Rays.
Well, smart hitter too, Evan Longoria. He knows that that's where John Lackey wants to get him out. And look at him just go out there, just go up and soft serve that ball into center field. We've seen him do that too. Talking an awful lot about his production and power, but he's done a good job of 2-strike hitting also.
Yeah, that's not only the physical side, but that's just being a smart hitter right there, to have an idea and then to be able to transform that into action. It's a base hit. It's a leadoff single, but that's really cool.
It really is groovy.
Yeah. He's been hitterish and then some. James Loney. He's a guy who's been hitterish as well.
Oh my gosh. You talk about consistency of approach, period. This is the guy you look up and watch what he's done over the last month. I'm tired of trying to time it out. It's been a long time. Middle of April.
There it is, a shot into right center field. Backhanded by Victorino. Over to third goes Longoria, and the Rays have something brewing in the 4th inning. Back-to-back hits by Longoria and Loney.
Yeah, leave it to those guys. Longoria a little soft serve, and then Loney rockets this ball into right field. Just goes down and hammers it.
Well, you have to love Loney's swing.
It's so pure.
And, you know, he's a low-key guy.
Yes.
I mean, very low-key. That's so refreshing. All he does is come out and play. He's a great first baseman. His approach to the plate has really been fun to watch.
Yep. And you're right. There's no me, I. He just kind of shuffles in, puts his uniform on, goes and gets a couple hits, goes home.
Luke Scott. 1 ball, no strikes. Luke with a little looper back at third. That's going to fall fair. Longoria scores. Loney's going to go to third. Scott into second with a double. The Rays are on the board, and they really have something brewing now. A little check swing, 2-base hit for Luke Scott.
Yeah, and I think Luke will be the first to tell you the weakest double of his career. I mean, this was almost an excuse me half check swing, and look at the placement. Oops. He'll take it. A little fillet piece. I mean, look at that.
Well, you know, isn't it amazing how these things work out, though? Scott came into this game 6 out of 16. That's a .375 lifetime average against Lackey with 2 home runs. And he gets a big hit tonight. It's a double, but it's a check swing double, just fair to drive in another run.
And so the next time that they hook up, we're going to talk about, with damage too, you know, a couple of home runs, a double. Well, there you go.
Kelly Johnson with a chance now to perhaps get the Rays even. He looks over a fastball outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
In Boston, you know, nobody out. Infield is playing back. They're conceding this run here to Kelly.
1-1 count now. Souvenir for that young man in the front row. Johnson subject to the changeup there, and Lackey's out in front.
Didn't that look like a heater, a hard heater away that he's trying to go up and get?
Giants had the bases loaded in the third. Runners second and third here in the fourth with nobody out and a run home. Another conversation. Lavarnway, the young catcher, just up from the minor leagues. Lackey, the veteran, so he wants to make sure they're on the same page.
Well, and you got a runner out there at second base, Luke Scott, who's no spring chicken. I mean, he's been around, maybe picking up signs. You want a strikeout here now that you got to 2 strikes, so you start talking about what pitch I want to put him away with.
A foul ball, he threw him a fastball.
He climbed the ladder. He saw him go out after that ball up and away from him and come up empty. Now he tries to put a little hair on it. Put that up around the letters and see if you can get it over the swing. Kelly Johnson's got that uppercut swing. So teams will attack him up in the zone.
Covered up by Lavarnway. 2-2. That's the other thing Lavarnway wants to be aware of if he throws a slider down.
Yes. Got to be ready to block, anticipate that ball in the dirt.
And that's been a hard slider as well. He strikes him out. Well, he started that pitch away.
Yep, and really you could call this a backdoor slider. It's more of a backdoor cutter. 87 miles an hour, very little movement, but just enough. Started off, and that's a backdoor cutter.
Now Jose Molina. That hit from Molina in the third was the first he's ever had off Lackey. He'd gone 0 for 11 against him and singled through the right side. Rays would take another one of those right now. Pitch is a strike. Breaking pitch. Rays working on a season-long 5-game winning streak over 500 for the first time since they were 3-2 back on the 6th of April. And he lays off this pitch. Sam Holbrook down at first confirms that he held up. One and one. 2 balls and a strike. Rays in the run, 5 hits. 3 runs, 2 hits for Boston. Center. Gonna fall for a base hit. Loney scores. Scott on his way to the plate. And the Rays have tied this game. Jose Molina 2 for 2 tonight. And the second hit drives in 2 runs.
Now Rays hitters taking advantage of mistakes by Lackey and Molina. This ball just right out over the heart of the plate. Stays inside the baseball very nicely. See him pull those hands through, push that ball out into right center field.
Again, not trying to do too much.
That's it. That's exactly right. He did not get greedy on that pitch at all, and he finds himself 2 for 2.
So the Rays have 3 runs with Molina at first and 1 out in the 4th inning. So this game all even again. And Escobar, who doubled in the 3rd and does have a history of success against Lackey, will bat. The double for Escobar in the third was his 5th of the year. And he lines it into right. That's in there for a base hit, sending Molina down to second. Well, Escobar's seen 2 pitches from Lackey's, 2 for 2 with a double and a single.
How about that? Again, 8 and 9 hole for the Rays, coming up big. Now this ball right out over the plate. Escobar shoots it to right. Well, these Rays hitters, you know, here it goes again with that big inning, able to string some things together, and then hitting becomes contagious.
Top of the batting order now, Desmond Jennings. The Rays start their 3rd time through the order. Strike to Desmond. Desmond has struck out and grounded out to third. Desmond starts to shorten up on the bat. Takes the pitch for a ball. You can see what the Rays offense has been like since the 17th of April. I mean, they're top across the board in crucial areas, including runs per game.
By the way, April 17th wasn't yesterday. I mean, this is almost a month they've been doing that.
2-1. Yeah, they've shown that over a period of time you do that, they start to believe that this is more representative of the offense they have.
What you don't see guys giving away at bats. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Something's going on here with the communication between Lackey and LaVarnway. Way too many meetings, and John Lackey's doing all the talking. John Farrell sees it too. Well, that makes it tough to pitch when you're fighting your catcher.
It's 3-1. Jennings sends a fly ball to center. Ellsbury is there to make the catch. Hey, here's a tag at second. Molina heads to third. And trailing into second is Escobar. The Rays being aggressive on Ellsbury.
Well, that's the way Joe Madden likes it. He likes his guys to be aggressive on the base paths, and they're going after the throwing arm of Jacoby Ellsbury there. That was a fly ball, medium deep. But Jose Molina, you're not thinking that he's going to go, and not only does he go, but Escobar moves up.
Yeah, this could be a big play in this game.
Absolutely.
Got Matt Joyce up here with 2 minutes scoring position, and Joyce has had success against Lackey in the past. Out front right there, the changeup, pretty good pitch thrown by Lackey in this situation.
Well, you've got an aggressive hitter up there, Matt Joyce, a good fastball hitter. You got runners in second and third, scoring position. You know he's going to be antsy, wanting to swing the bat, so why not?
He's under it, pops it up. Right side, Pedroia, Napoli. Napoli down the line. He's going to have to back up. It drops. How about that? Molina crossed the plate. Escobar crossed the plate. And the Rays get 2 more.
And guess what? If that ball rolls foul, that's a foul ball. That's why Pedroia let it go. That would have been a foul ball. It stays fair and becomes, how about that? Well, we see it all the time with visiting players. Lose it in the roof. And this ball, as it no one touches it, that's why Pedroia is saying, listen, if this catches that ridge and rolls foul, it's foul ball.
Well, it's a heads-up play by Pedroia, but the Rays get the break as the ball stays inside the line. And it's 5-3. How about the move up now?
Never assume anything. Always hustle, always work, and it just gave the Rays 2 more runs.
Here's Zobrist. It's been a 5-run fourth.
We've had one of the most interesting singles that you'll see.
That's right.
And one of the most interesting doubles that you'll see. Same inning.
Zobrist looks at a strike. So the Rays have batted around. That's been a theme on this homestand. They lead 5-3. 1-1. So Joyce with a base hit on that high pop-up that Napoli called and then realized that he was in too deep. He was going to have to backpedal, and the ball fell between Napoli and Pedroia. There goes the runner. The pitch is low, and there's no throw as Joyce steals second base. So the Rays continue to keep the hammer down here and play aggressively.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're sending a message. Big series against a team that's ahead of you in the standings, and they are just letting it all hang out here in the 4th inning.
It evens the count 2-2. The Rays have batted around 5 times on this homestand. 6 all year, 5 on the homestand.
That's amazing. That really is.
Ground ball. Glove by Pedroia. Thrown to first. That's a nice play by Pedroia to get Zobrist. The Rays are finished, but they come up with a big inning. They score 5. Luke Scott with a check swing double driving in a run. Molina drove in 2. Matt Joyce with a couple.
Like gel Gatorade things.
Yes!
liking what they're seeing in that last inning. The reaction, Alex Cobb wearing a mic in the dugout. The Rays enjoying the bottom of the fourth inning and the way things turned out, particularly on that pop-up single by Matt Joyce. The Rays hold a 5-3 lead as we play in the fifth. The 0-1 pitch to Middlebrooks is pulled foul.
Matt Moore giving new life.
Well, he's retired 11 in a row since he gave up that home run to Ortiz. So after that big blow, he's done his job. It's a ball at 2 strikes. That curveball stays wide, and that's been an on-again, off-again pitch for him tonight. But they've stayed with it, trying to get it into play here.
Well, it's a big pitch for him, and when he has that working to go along with the fastball and changeup, he is really dangerous. There you go.
Hopper right side. Johnson. 1 out in the 5th inning. Time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. The bullpen starting to round into shape, and those are impressive numbers from that bullpen now.
You don't win meaningful games without a very good bullpen, and the bullpen that had an uneven start to the season has locked it in. How about that? Just 2 hits in 11 2/3 innings. 0-54, 15 strikeouts. They've become dominant. I'll tell you what, the last couple of times out for McGee, Peralta, Rodney, your 7, 8, 9 guys, they have been locked down. In fact, their last 2 appearances each, they've worked 6 innings and given up 1 hit.
Yeah, that's the combination that Joe Madden and Jim Hickey look for in the late inning situations. So that side, a very good development for the Rays.
Well, here's the deal. Look at what we're talking about. Bullpen starting to round into form, especially the back end. Starting pitching, you believe, is going to be consistent every night. These guys go out there, you have a good feeling about it. And what the offense has done, it's no wonder the team's on a run right now.
There's a shot off the bat of Drew. Zobrist looking up. That's off the top of the wall and bounce back toward the infield. Drew turns second but holds there. Drew hit that one right off the top of the padding on the right field wall.
Stephen Drew able to time up this fastball here that stayed middle of the plate. Almost was able to lift it up and over that fence. You see right there, off the fence, off the padding, and then that carom, you thought maybe he was going to eyeball third base.
Molina, an extended visit on the mound with Matt Moore. Yeah, here's where the Rays want to shut down the Red Sox after a big 4th inning. Keep them off the scoreboard here in the 5th, if at all possible.
Yeah, you do not want them to answer and start to feel like you just want to keep them down, get out of this inning right here quick, let your offense go back to work, get Lackey back out there.
Lackey made 35 pitches in the 4th. Fly ball right field, right to Zobrist. That's out number 2. So if the Rays can get a quick inning here in the top of the 5th, you put the veteran right back out there. He's already had 1 extended inning in the 4th. And trying to keep that trend going.
And those 30-plus pitches you're talking about, Dwayne, started with an Evan Longoria single to lead that inning off. So he went right to the stretch and had to start making high-intensity, big-time pitches for the duration. So those will take more of a toll on you than just 30 pitches in a different kind of inning.
Jacoby Ellsbury has been hit by a pitch and has popped out. One ball, no strikes. Padres and the Orioles, top of the 6th, and Baltimore tied 1-1. Mariners lead the Yankees 1-0, top of the 5th in New York. Blue Jays home against San Francisco, bottom of the 5th, Toronto 6. San Francisco 2. Fastball fouled back. It's 1-1. Fastball up and in. Moore retired 12 in a row before the double by Drew, and now he's back working out of the stretch. He got Lavarnway on the first pitch for the second out. He's 2 balls and a strike with Ellsbury. Broken bat, foul ball. 2-2. Rays start the day 4.5 back of New York in the American League East, 2.5 behind third place Boston. I mentioned first time they've been a game over 500 since the 6th of April. Here we are on the 14th of May, so it's been a battle for the Rays to try to get back to 500. They made 3 or 4 runs and finally got to 500. And with this 5-game winning streak, they're 19 and 18 now. Now the other way, out of play.
You love the way that they're playing right now to be able to get there, get 1 game over, because let's look at their next 4 series. Boston at home, at Baltimore, at Toronto, New York at home.
Yep.
So you're going to face everybody in your division. Good time to be playing good baseball.
Yep. Matt kept saying that this is a better team than they had been showing during that month prior to this little streak. Just enough to stay alive on the foul ball.
Yeah, and on the best curveball of Matt Moore's night. That was sharp down in the zone, and Ellsbury able to spoil it.
Again, and it's down, taken by Ellsbury. Boston scored 3 in the first on the David Ortiz home run. The Rays scored 5 at the bottom of the 4th. We're in the 5th. 3-2. And he just missed. Pitched down a fastball. So Moore, who had hit Ellsbury in the first inning, walks him in the 5th.
Well, that was a good at-bat by Ellsbury. Fouling off some tough pitches and taking some close ones.
So
coach the walk here.
First and second now with 2 gone.
Victorino, another scrappy ball player.
Yeah, these guys are the top of their order. You start with Ellsbury, Victorino, then Pedroia.
You know what they give away on the fact that Victorino's scrappy? The dead giveaway?
That would be
the double ear flap helmet.
In your estimation, he's man enough to wear it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't prefer it. I like to have the 2 separate helmets, but you know what? If you're going to pull that off,
yep,
you better have it where it counts, baby.
Well, that's a fly ball right center. Zobrist makes the catch. Red Sox lead 2, and the Rays lead by 2, 5-3.
Autographs before the game. The Magic Plantains and also a little band greeted the Rays in their clubhouse. There they are, the Lucky Plantains for Fernando Rodney and the group Sol Caribe out of Tampa with a little pregame festivities in the Rays clubhouse. Joel Peralta dancing along, and here's Fernando Rodney's reaction.
Something nice. I like it. There's something we talked about like a way to go, and he did it. Bring the band here, some merengue, salsa. It's gonna be the motivator for tonight or the week. He's gonna help out for the go to the road 3 and play well.
Most teams would call this a crazy day in the clubhouse. The Rays call it Tuesday, guys.
Oh, come on. I mean, he's been working on that line for how long? I mean, it was a good line, but come on, Callis. The Rays called it Tuesday. So good.
The man they call TK.
I think and you know what? He chest bumped himself.
Salsa and the merengue. And the report by TK. 0-2. Top of the third. Brooks throws out Longoria. Bottom of the 5th inning underway. James Loney, 1 for 2 tonight. Subject of our Wendy's. Now that's better. And how about that? That is much better. First 13 games in the last 25, propelling him into the American League lead in the batting race. He was hitting .376 coming in. Pitch is a strike. He's up to .378 right now with the 1 for 2 tonight.
When you watch what he's been able to do, how is he even... It's remarkable that he hit 167 over 13 games. When you watch the way that he handles the bat now, how is he capable of doing that?
Well, he said something the other day. Last year, his numbers were off. There's a shot. Look at that. Line drive, and he's hit a lot of those in this stretch. Back into the corner. Victorino gets a good carom, but the throw's not in time. It's a double for James Loney. He's hit more line drives than anybody in the big leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another couple tonight. Here it is. That ball close to him. That's what we've seen. We've seen the quick hands and him getting that barrel to the baseball with authority. Really hitting the ball hard.
Well, he's up to .384. And this 2-base hit will be the end of the night for John Lackey. So Lackey leaves after 4 1/3. Metro PCS call to the bullpen. Parts after 4 1/3. Gives up 5 runs, responsible for a runner at second, 9 hits, 3 strikeouts and a walk.
Well, interesting night for John Lackey. He was victimized by a couple pitches out over the plate. Luke Scott blew double, the infield fly pop-up single that should have ended the inning. Cost him 2 more runs there.
Andrew Miller, the left-hander, on in relief to face Luke Scott.
And how about John Farrell already going to his big lefty? 16th time. Andrew Miller can be a very tough at-bat for a left-handed hitter. Long, lanky, kind of a slingshot arm angle, and can get the ball up. Some good velo.
Left-hander out of Gainesville, went to school at the University of North Carolina. Ball, 2 strikes. The curveball. Miller, pretty good leverage at 6'7". And you could see how he could give left-handed hitters a hard time.
Well, he's got that lower arm angle. He's not straight over the top. See how he comes out there at that 6'6" frame and then just bores that fastball. You know, it's not your 88 to 90, mid to upper.
Barnway asking for time, granted by Rob Drake. And then look at this, though. 286 against lefties and 176 against righties.
Well, you could see how he'd be tough on righties with that ball boring in on him, but lefties, yeah, you've got to believe that opponent's average should be much lower. Just too many mistakes because the stuff is there to dominate lefties.
Thought he had a strike there.
He certainly let Rob Drake know, too.
The count is full. Runner goes, swing and a miss by Scott to throw down. They throw out Loney. And the Rays are finished in the 5th. Scott strikes out. Loney caught trying to steal. And so the Rays are finished in the 5th and lead by 3. A 3-run home run in the first and a 3-0 lead. The Rays got on the board on a check swing double by Luke Scott. Jose Molina drove in 2. That tied the game. And Matt Joyce, with 2 men on, lifted this high pop to first. It falls in between Napoli and Pedroia. It stayed fair to give the Rays a 5-run fourth as they batted around for the 5th time on this homestand. So as we go to the 6th, Matt Moore has a 5-3 lead. He's made 85 pitches with 6 strikeouts and a walk tonight, allowing 3 runs on 3 hits. And Dustin Pedroia leads off the inning. Ball 1. Between the home run by Ortiz and the 5th inning double by Drew, Moore retired 12 in a row.
That's what you call settling down, and he's done it really with a very inconsistent breaking. He's been able to do it with the powerful fastball and the good changeup against a very good lineup.
Copley falls behind Pedroia. This with a fastball up and away, and it's 3-0. Same spot away. He walks Pedroia on 4 pitches to open the inning. Let's check in again with Todd.
Well, Dwayne, before the game, we were talking about how it's amazing with Matt Moore with the first pitch strikes this year. Of all the qualified pitchers last with 47.1% first pitch strikes, and you see his numbers again tonight. That seems to be a theme, but so far this year, he's been able to work around it, guys.
Well, that has been a recurring situation for him. And with his leadoff walk in the 6th inning, the Rays are going to get some action up in their bullpen. For the first, Pedroia is back in. David Ortiz, again the hitter for Boston, accounting for their 3 runs with a home run. It's Josh Lukey. And Ortiz skies one. Short left. Joyce is there and makes the catch. So Matt Joyce out there in left field retires Ortiz on the first pitch.
And this is a big out here for Matt Moore. That ball's in the middle of the plate, and David Ortiz is not happy with himself because he knows he got a pitch to drive there.
Napoli. Seattle taking a 3-0 lead in New York. That game now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Oh no. It's Hernandez against Sabathia. Sabathia with 10 strikeouts through 6 innings. And Felix Hernandez 8 strikeouts through 5 in that game. Napoli came into the game tied for 3rd in the league in runs batted in. This again is away. It's that general area that is a problem on occasion for Moore. Takes a big cut at the fastball. 2-2.
Well, that's where Napoli likes it. He likes that ball down where he can get that good extension and lift. Boy, he goes down there to try and get it. Actually, the swing taking it below the baseball. He really spread out there trying to definitely.
the right side. That's headed for the stands. First game of a 3-game series against Boston. Moore and Lackey the starters in this game. It'll be David Price against John Lester here tomorrow night. On Thursday, Alex Cobb against Felix Dubron. The changeup. Oh, that's a nice pitch.
It really is, and that has been the big pitch for Matt Moore tonight. That good changeup paired up with the fastball.
Send your favorite Rays players to the Big Apple this summer to play in the All-Star game. Simply log on to RaysBaseball.com to fill out your ballot. Vote now and vote often. The example has been set by those two fine young gentlemen in the sombreros. Both great Rays fans.
And they may have an insurmountable lead already.
Putting in the time and the effort.
Thousands of ballots a night.
They're now taking a break from all their hard work.
Look at that. It has the pageant wave down already.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, that's the wave of a winner. Right.
Yep. Listen. Set up on the back of the Oldsmobile in the county parade. The sash.
Headed to the All-Star game. A ball, no strikes. Pedroia at first. Ortiz and Napoli have been retired as Matt Moore now faces Gomes. It's a strike, and Molina kept the ball up the right side. No chance for any advance by Pedroia.
Block here by Molina, and Johnny Gomes a little bit too far on the swing.
One-two. He got it. Gomes out on strikes, changed up on him. So 2 strikeouts in the inning on the changeup. Bottom of inning 6 coming up here at Tropicana Field. Rays H.H. Gregg. First pitch in the bottom of the 6th, base hit into center. Kelly Johnson goes after the first pitch delivered from Andrew Miller, and the leadoff man is aboard.
Well, and a left-handed hitter. That's who John Farrell wanted Miller to face. And Kelly goes right back up the middle, and that will lead to Andrew Miller's exit.
So the Rays now in double figures, and we have a Metro PCS called to the bullpen.
On 2K13, they're like sweet change in velocity, and they had a video, and my fastball was 86, and then my changeup was 86. Plus Gatorade today.
Kool-Aid?
No, it's just really good Gatorade.
I know, but it's Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid?
Sugar in there.
No. It's really good.
Get a little shop talk and then back to the menu.
Back to the menu. It's a good mix. They gotta mix that Gatorade. And whoever did it had a nice touch today.
Well, we've had Alex Cobb mic'd up tonight, but Jeremy Hellickson has also been a prominent part.
Well, hey, these starting pitchers, they can hardly separate them. You see them almost in every shot. There are 4 of them not in the game, all bunched up. At least 3 of them. Hernandez looking at video.
Runner at first base is Kelly Johnson. Clayton Mortensen, the new pitcher, right-hander. He's on to face Jose Molina, who's 2 for 2 tonight. And he bunts. Mortensen with a toss to Pedroia covering. So Molina, who has driven in a couple runs with 2 hits, he scored a run. Now he's bunting runners up.
Hey, you know, how about the night for Jose Molina handling the bat? The first one, he takes a slider that's down and off the plate and shoots it to right. He stays inside a ball and hits it into center, and then here on the bunt and lays it down perfectly.
Janel Escobar. Well, Escobar has been the height of efficiency tonight. He's seen 2 pitches, has a double, a single, and a run scored. Now he faces Mortensen. And he checks, taking the pitch for ball 1. Throws him a strike. Rays batting around in the 4th inning, scoring 5 times. Offense continues to be a major part of the Rays' successful run lately. 2-1. Matt has also seen the bullpen settle in. 6 innings from his starter Matt Moore tonight, and Jake McGee up in the bullpen right now. Escobar eyeballs this one for ball 3. 3-1.
Yeah, nasty slider there by Mortensen, not biting Escobar.
He worked 4 to 3rd, gave up 5 runs, 9 hits, and a walk. He struck out 3. Andrew Miller got 2/3 of an inning under his belt, struck out 1 and gave up a hit. Hey, tune in tomorrow for the Wednesday night showdown as the Tampa Bay Rays take on the Boston Red Sox, sponsored by the Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. It's also Web Wednesday, which means we'll be entertaining questions.
Yes.
Foul ball outside of 3rd.
Love Web Wednesdays. I got a big Wednesday tomorrow. Got a lot of things planned, D-Wayne.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the last day before, full day before we go on the road. So, morning, noon, and night, I've got things to take care of tomorrow. It's going to be a fun day. And during the game, good matchup, Wednesday, everybody wins.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I know. And then after the game, having to wind down is going to be tough.
Just put your feet up. Kelly Johnson at second with 1 out. Break 2 is foul. Out of play, and we'll see another payoff pitch. Runs, 10 hits for the Rays. 3 runs and 3 hits for Boston. Sitting there, 3rd pitcher. And ball 4. The bottom 2 spots in the Rays order. And a good night tonight. Escobar is on for the 3rd time.
And, that's what you hear these Rays players, and Evan Longoria, when he was talking about winning the American League Player of the Week, he talked about the good at-bats and the offense from, 1 through 9, top to bottom, and everybody's giving good at-bats. And tonight, boy, Escobar and Molina having some kind of a night. And then, of course, that rolls right over to the top of the order, and it's just a never-ending cycle for this Rays offense.
Now Desmond Jennings. Pitch is down.
Yeah, and even though that you're not scoring every inning, the pressure has been pretty constant. You force these Boston pitchers, if they're going to get out of an inning, they're going to have to really make some tough pitches.
Well, the other thing is that Lackey out of the game after 4 to 3rd, so you get into that bullpen early in the first game of the series.
Always huge. And I think, they've been trying to send a message, too, I think, with as aggressive as they've been on the base paths, even with the stolen base, sending Loney to try to pick up 3rd. It's not something you're going to see every day, but and it ended up being a strike him out, throw him out, but still, you're pedal to the metal.
Well, and a good reason for that, when the Rays played the Red Sox up at Fenway, the Rays were not hitting. You know, they lost a game 2-1 in 10 innings. They were shut out 5-0 on 3 hits, and then lost another game 3-2. And things are a little different, and I think they wanted to serve notice that, hey, if you're thinking that this team today was that team, that's not correct. Two balls and a strike to count to Jennings. It's just the way it is in the American League East. A popper short right. Torino makes the catch for the second out.
And Dustin Pedroia was looking for help there. Like, please come in. He had a bad angle. It was over his shoulder. The last minute he looked in, make sure Victorino's going to get it. Watch him go back and try to get this and then start looking for help. Oh, there we go.
You know, we're talking about the Rays feeling that the team that was in Boston not representative of the team they think they have here, and we've started to see better results recently. And even when they were struggling, Joe kept saying this is a better team than this. That's what was so frustrating for him. And the Red Sox are the same way, with a longer term view, looking back into last year. Their idea is to say, this team is better than you think. It's certainly better than last year. And John Farrell's message is that this team can compete right now in the American League East. And a lot of that has to do with the top of their rotation that we've discussed. And that's why ultimately Lackey's going to be an important part of what happens to the Red Sox.
If they're going to make that jump, you know, Buchholz and Lester have to do their thing, and they need another guy or two to step up, as well as, you know, get good quality innings from their bullpen. And they've had some injury issues out there.
Hanrahan's gone for the year.
Yeah.
Bailey's still on the sideline.
Right there, your closer and your right-handed setup guy. And Bailey obviously would have probably been the guy to fill in as the closer.
Yep.
Closer coming over from Oakland. He was the Boston closer last year. So there's been some issues out there. Well, I'll tell you what, Clay Buchholz, when we saw him up in Boston, could he have pitched any better? My goodness. Well, he was the American League Pitcher of the Month.
Two-one. There's a line drive into right. Victorino closes and makes the catch, and the Rays leave 2. We're at the end of 6. It's 5-3 Rays.
Red Sox coming into today's play, 4th in the American League in runs scored, which leads us to our AT&T Twitter poll question of the night. Who do you fear the most in that Red Sox lineup? The 3-hitter, #TB1, Dustin Pedroia. The 4-hitter, #TB2, David Ortiz. Or the 5-hitter, #TB3, Mike Napoli. Tweet your votes to @SunSportsRays, guys.
All right, Todd, thank you. That's the heart of that Boston lineup right there. And Matt Moore departs after working 6 innings. He'll give way to Jake McGee.
Well, of course he will. The Rays have a lead. It's the 7th inning. What else did you expect? For the 18th time, Jake McGee continues to chip away at those numbers. He's been very good his last 2 times out.
He'll face Middlebrooks. Will Middlebrooks to lead it off in the 7th. And Drew and LaVarn Wade due up. 100 pitches for Moore tonight. 6 innings, 3 runs, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, a couple walks. He hit a man, gave up a home run. And it has been McGee, Peralta, and Rodney. And that's the combo that Joe Madden and Jim Hickey want to be able to pencil in.
Oh, look what they've done. Those 2 appearances, last 2 appearances for each of them, they've given up 1 hit in 6 innings. And what that allows Joe to do is when those guys are rolling like that, it shortens the game. It makes it a 6-7 inning game. And with the way that they've been able to get out to some quick starts, tonight it was Boston, but they answered. You shorten that game down and you get some of these bullpen guys coming in and pitching like they have the last couple of times out, and it's lights out. That's the formula that Joe Madden wants for his team to win ball games.
Two and 2. The Rays grab the lead with a 5-run 4th. We saw Middlebrooks in batting practice, and boy did he ignite some pitches.
Well, I was just sitting here, just happened to be looking out over the field, not really paying a whole lot of attention to what was going on, and all of a sudden you see, like you said, these balls, he rocking them off the center field, the restaurant out there, and balls way deep into left field and left center.
That spins him around. 3 and 2.
Boy, this awfully close to nipping Will Middlebrooks. You don't want to take that 96, 97 into the ribs.
He fouls it back. And Todd Naresh is talking about Johnny Gomes trying to hit them with their set out there in deep left field. And Middlebrooks hit a couple in that direction. I mean, really deep.
Oh, if he would have pulled him a little bit further, he would have hit him well on to that little set.
Yeah.
May have cleared the set. He was launching.
Takes a big cut, fouls it. 98 that time from McGee.
Well, both of these guys, Middlebrooks with a nice easy swing, and we saw the ball jumping off his bat, and that's the same way with Jake McGee out there. Nice and easy, smooth mechanics, and the ball really jumps out of his hand. Look at this. Come on.
He's on the high honor roll with those kinds of speeds.
Yes.
And again, 98, the foul ball. It's quite a battle here between Middlebrooks and McGee. One more time. And a chopper. Shortstop Escobar's got it to throw to first. Well, it was a battle. And McGee retires Middlebrooks. Matt Moore, another good start, 6 innings, and a chance to win.
Well, a rocky start here. 3 of the 4 hitters in the Boston Red Sox lineup score on that home run by David Ortiz, and then he went to work. Retired 12 in a row at one point. Bought his offense some time to come back, and they did. Boy, Matt did a nice job tonight, especially the way that he was able to work around the inconsistency of the curveball with the good fastball and the good changeup to come up with that line. Just the 2 walks, that's always going to be big for him.
Stephen Drew in the batter's box. A ball, no strikes. Top half of inning 7. Rays have led since the 4th. It's 1-1. Two balls and a strike. McGee worked an inning in the game Sunday against San Diego. He's in there in the 7th inning and had a strikeout. Low to Drew, 3-1. He also worked in the Friday game in the Padres series. 1 inning with a strikeout. He's coming off a sweep of San Diego. And Drew walks. Runner at first with 1 out. Celebrate Fernando Rodney's historic 2012 season with a limited edition figurine featuring Rodney's iconic Shooting the Moon celebration. This figurine is available only by purchasing the Tampa Bay Times ticket tandem for any game against the Yankees May 24th through the 26th. Visit RaysBaseball.com/tandems. Ryan LaVarnway is the hitter. He has struck out, lifted a fly ball into right. Takes a big cut at the 98-mile-per-hour fastball and fouls it at the strike. And a great catch in the field seats there, that foul ball. So Lukey in the bullpen. A 1-1 count. LaVarnway with good power. Makes it 2 balls and a strike. Molina's headed to the mound after catching all these 96, 97, 98 fastballs. He's just giving that middle little break. He turns it over with McGee.
This has nothing to do with Jake McGee. It has everything to do with his left hand.
Middlebrooks went to 3-2. They had quite a battle, a 10-pitch battle there before he got him on a ground ball. And he walked Drew when 3. Now LaVarn Way with a 2-1 count. We'll even it. Boston led with a 3-run home run in the first from Ortiz. The Rays scored 5 in the fourth. That's been it in the run production department. 2-2, and we have a full count again.
Coming in with the heater, and that ball's off, and that runs the count full. Got to make a pitch here.
Barnway, 25-year-old catcher. Line drive into right, going to be caught by Zobrist. Snap throw back to first just in case, and Drew is back in. Big out, 2 gone.
Well, LaVarn Way, good shot. He hit it hard. He hit it hard the other way, but that ball hung up there. Stayed up for Ben.
It's the top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury's been on twice. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run his first time. Walked his last time. In between, he popped to second. That's a strike. Ellsbury 1 for 5 in his career against Jake McGee. One ball, 1 strike. Red Sox come into this game 22-16. The Rays 19-18. The Rays have been surging. 2-1. Snap throw to first, and Drew is back in. Molina with a peg down to first. They've had Lukey up in the bullpen. Jim Hickey on the phone. And it's ball 3. So he's had a 3-ball count on every hitter he's faced here in this inning.
It hasn't been as sharp as you normally see, Jake, but he's not missing by a ton. I mean, these pitches are just off.
Three 1, and we go to 3-2. It's 26 pitches. He's thrown 13 strikes and 13 non-strikes. game. Runner goes on the 3-2, and it's high, ball 4. Something extra on it at 98, but the second walk of the inning. Put men at first and second. 2 outs, and Joe Madden's on his way to the mound to make a change. The Metro PCS call to the bullpen coming. Into the Rays annual broadcast auction. It'll be Tuesday, May 28th, when fans have the opportunity to bid on one-of-a-kind Rays experiences. Check all the items up for bid at raysbaseball.com/broadcast auction. Proceeds benefit the Rays Baseball Foundation and the Tampa General Hospital Foundation. Shane Victorino in here to face Josh Lukey with 2 men on and 2 men out. The first pitch is a strike. Breaking ball to start.
Yeah, the little we've seen of Josh Lukey, he has been very sharp. Good fastball. There's a good breaking ball there. Hides the ball very well.
And again, good breaking ball, 0-2. Well, Lukey has apparently arrived here with a very confident mindset.
Does he not look like a guy who's done with AAA?
He certainly does, yeah.
I mean, he's carrying himself like, you know what, enough's enough. I'm through with AAA. It's time to be a big leaguer.
Well, he's shown us here that he can make the ball go in 2 different directions. And we know he has a great arm. So that's a pretty good combination right there. A couple curveballs and a couple splits. It's 1-2. Impressive numbers in Durham.
29 strikeouts, 19 innings. That lets you all you need to know about dominance. Obviously, ERA yells at you too, as soon as the opponent's average.
just got enough to keep the at-bat going.
Love to see him come with a fastball here just to get him off the off speed. A couple of breaking balls, 3 straight changeups. Give him something different to look at, even if you want to go back to that off speed.
Takes that breaking ball down and in. 2-2. To retire the side with 2 left, and the Rays lead 5-3.
Ball hit the bag.
Yeah, that, but it was just a bad pitch for Ortiz.
Probably a slap on the butt. Baby slap. Dude, I would not want to be on that team. Not even you're all right, bud. You'll be all right. It's only 5 runs. His stuff has been nasty.
This guy, I didn't know it.
Wow.
Fastballs all over the place. He's got plenty of velocity. Big enough, he's intimidating.
Sounds of the game. Alex Cobb mic'd up for our telecast tonight. We appreciate that. They got George Hendrick involved as they were breaking down what Josh Lukey takes to the mound.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's impressive. Notice from up here, notice from in his own dugout.
Mortensen still on the hill for Boston. 1-0 pitch, and Zobrist caught Ellsbury in between Victorino. Well, they had everybody out there for that one.
Taking charge, the center fielder in traffic. Look at that.
Drew and Victorino. Boy, that's a dance routine right there. Now Evan Longoria. Evan singled and scored in the 5-run 4th. Hits the ball. Rays got all 5 runs off Lackey. Andrew Miller worked 2/3 of an inning, and Mortensen now following Miller. a fly ball to right to the track. Victorino, 2 gone. Ball carried a little more than Victorino anticipated at the outset, but he got back there and grabbed it. So 2 outs. James Loney due up, and John Farrell goes to the mound. He has the left-hander ready in the bullpen. It'll be Craig Breslow back after this. It's brought to you by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. And by Checkers. Feast on. Braves continuing their homestand tonight. Coming in 5-2 on the stand, reeling off 5 consecutive victories. And tonight opening a 3-game series against Boston. Breslow on to face James Loney. And the first pitch is a strike. Baltimore is batting in the bottom of the 9th with San Diego leading 3-2, and Houston Street in there trying to close that one out. Loney lifts a fly ball, short left. Gomes coming on, and he dives and makes the catch. Well, Johnny, a full speed ahead approach right there, and a little dive at the end as he holds on. The Rays are out in the 7th. Another look at Gomes in action. 5-3 Rays.
too early to start talking about tomorrow. Join us at 6:30 for Rays Live, presented by Gulf Coast Honda Dealers. I can't promise you any awesome pregame shenanigans, but I can promise you BA will have his breakdown of the Southpaw battle. John Lester and, of course, David Price and Super Sam Fold held a diabetes camp. I'll have a sweet story featured on that tomorrow as well.
Well, let me be the first to say that there will be shenanigans, probably pre and post game.
Well, of course. And it's a website Wednesday.
Yes.
So they probably will be invited. Joel Peralta, the new pitcher for the Rays, on to work the 8th against the Red Sox. So he'll face Dustin Pedroia to lead off the 8th. First pitch is a strike.
Huge inning for the Rays setup guy, going up right down the middle of that order. In fact, these are the three guys you're talking about in the Twitter poll tonight. Who do you fear most in this lineup? Well, you're going to see all three of them if you're Joel Peralta.
Yeah, the answer to that probably depends on who you're facing at the moment. They're all tough. Pedroia's doubled and walked tonight. 1-1, and here is that poll coming up, the AT&T social media poll. Who do you fear the most in the Red Sox lineup? Dustin Pedroia, David Ortiz, or Mike Napoli? Tweet your vote to @SunSportsRays.
Nice pitch. Got Pedroia all out of sync and rhythm. Breaking ball.
Padres have beaten the Orioles 3-2. That's a final. So the Padres come away with a victory. Snaps their 3-game losing streak. And the Rays have a chance to pick up some ground on Baltimore. 6 big outs to get. 2-2 on Pedroia. Yankees have taken the lead on the Mariners. It's 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pedroia battling against Peralta, fouls it back. For McGee, Lukey. Now Pedroia and Peralta match up. And Joel Peralta, this is down. 3-2. Peralta worked an inning Sunday in the Rays' 4-2 victory over San Diego. When they went 6 from Hernandez, then McGee, Peralta, and Rodney each an inning. Back to the mound, in and out of the glove of Peralta, and the toss to first in time to get Pedroia. Well, that was a battle and a big out to get to start the 8th.
Peralta throwing his body in front of that. That ball was hit hard by Pedroia, headed right back up the middle. Get that ball into the glove. It popped out, but you have plenty of time to stay with it and make the out. One man down. Doesn't get any easier.
David Ortiz, who's accounted for all 3 of the Boston runs. Pitch is a strike. Well, Escobar was up the middle, and now with the count of 1 strike, Escobar goes back to the shortstop spot, and Longoria moves to the first base side of second. It's 1-1. Center. A lot of room out there, and Desmond Jennings makes the grab. So 2 outs in the 8th. We invite you to tune in tomorrow for the Wednesday night showdown as your Tampa Bay Rays take on the Boston Red Sox. Sponsored by your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. And what a pitching matchup. John Lester and David Price. Our coverage begins at 6:30 tomorrow. Mike Napoli. Napoli's grounded to third, twice has struck out. Pitch is a strike. Napoli 2 for 4 lifetime with a home run off Peralta. And he drops strike 2, a breaking ball in there.
Well, he's used that to each one of these Red Sox hitters in a great spot for a strike. Well, that's the thing. The fastball, the curveball, he's going to come at you with the split. He'll do it whenever. Not easy to follow if you're a hitter.
The 0-2. He got it. Fastball followed up on the curve. Strikes him out with the hard stuff. Rays lead 5-3.
good.
That was it. Why? Why'd you come back?
I glanced at the TV on my way down, and you were on it.
Aaron told me at a long time when I first came up, he said, your only job in the batter's box, your whole career, is to hit your pitch before you get to yours.
Yeah.
And take your chances. Because once he gets to his pitch, you're out.
Well, it's a great conversation there as Luke Scott grounds out first base unassisted. That's Alex Cobb mic'd up tonight. A great job and engaging George Hendrick in some great baseball conversation right there.
He is obviously a wealth of knowledge, and getting an opportunity to sit down and talk baseball with him, he's able to just put it in those simple terms.
Yep.
I'm going to hit my pitch in my spot before you get to your pitch, because if you get to yours,
I'm done.
It's done. It's done, and that's how he kept it simple.
Kelly Johnson looks at a strike. Yeah, that's really great stuff right there. A nice payoff to the evening with Alex Cobb mic'd in the dugout. There'll be more of that coming up in the postgame, by the way. 1-1 the count. Joey Johnson had a base hit in the 6th inning. He's been an important part of the Rays' offensive attack. And it's been important that he's been able to play multiple positions. Facing the left-hander Breslow, pitcher number 4 on the evening. Tap or foul. Take the count all the way to 3-2. Johnson out on strikes. 2 up, 2 down in the 8th. Coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. VA and I'll check out the performance of Matt Moore tonight. Joe Madden press conference. Kelly Nash with clubhouse interviews. And, of course, Todd Narust has anchored the coverage on Rays Live, the postgame. Presented by Checkers. Jose Molina bounds this one into the stands. Molina's had a good night. Hits, 2 RBIs, a run scored. Down on the count right now, 0-2. And Rodney, Rays bullpen. The Rays up 5-3 right now. That would be Fernando Rodney territory. Foul ball up the right side, out of play. David Price, John Lester tomorrow. Alex Cobb and Felix Doubront listed to pitch Thursday night. It's a ball and 2 strikes. second, and he is safe at second base. He made that one close. He went in standing up. The throw back in was well away from the bag, and Pedroia had to run the ball over there and almost tagged him out.
I didn't think that Jose was even going to go. That ball was a rocket shot, and Johnny Gomes was playing the bounce off the wall from the get-go. So he was going to get it in quick, and Molina's going to test the arm. Pedroia. This is not a pretty baseball play. Jose Molina having quite a night at the plate.
Well, that's going to be it for Breslow. Pitching change coming back after this. In the Papa John's bullpen box. Available dates are going fast, so act now to make your group reservation right behind the Rays bullpen by calling 855-GROUP-TV or online at RaysBaseball.com. It's Alex Wilson making appearance number 11. See, Escobar. The strike. It's wide. It's 1-1. Escobar misses the fastball up. Molina's at second base. He's had 3 hits tonight. That's the second 3-hit game he's had with the Rays. He had one last September against the Blue Jays.
And think about it. Base hit to right, base hit to center, double to left, and a sac bunt. Beautiful. Covered everything.
In his own way, he's hit for the cycle. Two balls, 2 strikes. Escobar, high fly ball. Ellsbury calling for it in center. So we head into the ninth with the Rays leading 5-3. Welcome back to Tropicana Field. The Rays have the lead 5-3 as we go to the 9th inning. First game of this 3-game series. Brian Anderson and Todd Callis, Dwayne Stats. Nice to have you with us. And tomorrow's pitching matchup brought to you by Chevron. It will be John Lester, who is 5-0. And a 273 earned run mark against David Price, looking for his second win.
I'll tell you what, two premier lefties. Reigning Cy Young Award winner David Price and Lester off to a great start. That will be a lot of fun to watch.
Joel Peralta worked the 8th, picked up a strikeout, and now it's Fernando Rodney here in the 9th inning. Johnny Gomes to lead off, Middlebrooks due next, and then Drew. First pitch, Gomes looks at a strike. Rodney opening with a fastball. Rodney got save number 6 Sunday in the 4-2 Rays win over San Diego. Cut and a miss. 96 on the hard stuff. Ryan Roberts in the game at second base for the Rays. The rest of the infield stays the same. And a cut and a miss. Couple fastballs and a changeup. That's strikeout number 10 for the Rays tonight.
Short work from Fernando. Dotting these pitches and this nasty changeup. You speed a guy up with the mid-90s and then you come in the mid-80s.
Will Middlebrooks. It's too low. Down again. Middlebrooks struck out in the second against Moore. That got him on a pop to second in the 5th. Last time up he had that long battle with Jake McGee and finally grounded out to shortstop. Two and one against Rodney. Comes back to pull the count even. Couple mid-90s fastballs right there. Full count. Blue Jays beat the Giants 10-6. R.A. Dickey got the win. 6 innings and 10 strikeouts for Dickey tonight. Foul ball. Bounces up and hits him while he was in the batter's box. Start of the day, 4.5 back of New York. Mariners batting in the 9th inning at New York. Yankees lead the Mariners 4-3 in that game. Line foul. See another 3-2 pitch. the changeup on 3 pitches, goes 3-2 to Middlebrooks and gets him on a change.
Well, again, 3-2 count here, and Middlebrooks, you got to guard against that heater. That's where Fernando Rodney is just so dangerous, because he's willing to throw that. We've seen him throw that changeup 3-0. So the willingness is there to use it, and it's tough to cover both of them.
Now Stephen Drew takes a strike. Matt Moore on the verge of being the only 7-0 pitcher in baseball. Jordan Zimmerman with Washington 7-1. 0-2. Rodney trying to close this one out for Matt.
And Fernando's been very good in the zone. And he can do just about whatever he wants right now. 0-2 count.
Ball, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs with the bases empty. Changeup. 3 strikeouts in the inning, all 3 coming on changeups to close this one out. And the Rays win it 5-3 tonight to extend their winning streak to 6. Matt Moore will go to 7-0. And that makes him the first starter in Rays history to begin a season 7-0. The save belongs to Fernando Rodney, as the Rays, who fell behind 3-0 in the first inning, put 5 on the board in the 4th to hand the Red Sox this defeat. 5-3 the final. Here's another look at Rodney's final pitch. A perfect 9th inning.